Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the Den. So, guys, this is my review recap for BMF Season 2, Episode 7, Both Sides of the Fence. Child, listen, this is a whole mess, y'all. A whole freaking mess, all right? We got B. Mickey in the trunk. We know that it is raggedy ass Detective Bryant that kidnapped him. We got Daddy Flannery, okay? Charles out here in these streets still being trash as he is, okay? Charles is trash, point blank, period. We had a lot of trash people, if we are being honest, okay? LaWanda trash, her mama trash, Markeisha trash, okay, or just dumb, just a plain old clown girl. How the hell you calling Terry talking about you need help, you done hit Zamboom in the head, and at the same time telling him he don't understand, he's a kid and he never been married before. Child, apparently you don't understand either, because if that was the case, you would have been never calling him. You calling him to tell him to bring you right back. LaWanda, her mama over here going to see damn psychics, child, that ain't no more psychic than a dag on roach crawling on the wall. And, you know what I'm saying, Lucille, child, still getting up to go to Wendy's, and Nicole knows about every damn thing that goes on. She is basically like, all of y'all are some freaking fools. And, you know, K9 out here popping his damn mama, child. What the heck is this, okay? Lamar wants us to be sorry for him and his daggone dog, Blackie. You know, is Monique about to get herself hurt, or is she about to take him out with this setup she trying to plan? Let's get all into this, y'all, and let's talk about it. Let's take it from the top. You know how we do. So, of course, as we start out this episode, you know, we always got to have, you know, Terry breaking it down for us, narrating, letting us know what is going on. And he basically tells us we were optimistic, right, about building the brands and family towards wealth. So we want everybody to win, right, rather than self. And so basically, of course, that's a great idea. That's a great way of thinking. But we know most times it don't work out that way, right? And so basically, we have him saying that, you know, even Judas, okay, played both sides from the coin. And we know that that didn't work out for him. That was his weakness, okay? But he did regret what he did. And of course, as soon as he's talking about Judas, we see that B. Mickey is up inside this trunk. And Detective Bryant coming talking about some, you know, breakfast time or whatever. You know, B. Mickey is asking where he's at. And so he just still keeps asking him where he's at. And he was like, now, have you figured out where them missing bricks went? And he said, you know, B. Mickey tells him, I told you I don't have them. And so he was like, well, just so you know, I'm moving your mother back to that little shitty ass hospital that she was in. And I'm also going to draw up some daggone charges for Kato, J-Mo, and that bouncing baby B. Mickey, right? So, of course, you know what I'm saying, B. Mickey is like, F you. And he was like, okay, well then, you know what I'm saying, keep playing with me. And he was like, you know, okay, then have a good day. Basically puts the little thing over his mouth again and closes him back up inside the trunk. And so, you know, child, I said, I knew it was Detective Bryant. I either figured him or Lamar, and we ruled out Lamar because we know he would have killed him. So now we seeing that we are having Saki's, you know what I'm saying, memorial service. We got his picture up. We got the obituaries. We got the wine. We got, you know, Hoop asking where the heck is B. Mickey, how he not gonna come out, and Meech just acts like he don't know, he haven't heard from him, and he walks away. But then you have Terry saying, so B. Missy is missing again, and you know, he was basically like, yo, last time I see him, he was wired like a bomb. And so Terry was basically saying, you know, because Meech was like, I called him, I went by his house, I even told Sterl to keep an eye on him. So he was like, you know, I couldn't stand your daggone little buddy ever since y'all was, you know, from second grade. And Meech was like, look, I'm upset too, I'm pissed too. He was like, really, are you? He was like, of course I am. But at the end of the day, he did come clean. And I was shocked to hear me saying that. Now we got past the Swift walking up, they telling him he did a great eulogy. He's like, thank you. He says he's kind of destroyed right now. And Meech is like, yeah, Pastor, we all upset. And he was like, are you? He said, because if you are, then you would be changing your ways. So they say, you know, you ain't seem to be worried about our little hefty contribution that we gave my brother. And so he was just basically saying that, I'm speaking about salvation. I'm talking about something a little higher than that, redemption for our community, brother. That's what Pastor Swift says. And he says, faith without work is dead, and so the both of you might want to think about repenting, or we shall perish, said the Lord, okay? And so he go walking off. Now, of course, he don't want to hear about that or whatever. And, T is telling him to chill. So they was like, yo, we got bigger stuff to worry about. And he was saying, like, even with B Mickey, like, look how he took out Kato. And he was like, well, he was saying he did it with no problem. And T said, well, actually, that is a problem. That makes him even more dangerous, the fact that he did that and that he knows where all the damn bodies is buried. And so Meech was just saying, like, we got bigger fish to fry. We need to get Lamar out of commission, and we need to make sure that Raisin hooks us up with the Colombians, okay? Of course, that's the next thing on his back. And he was like, T says, do you really think that going against K9 and having his cousin help you make the move is the best move that you should be doing right now, okay? But once Meech got his mind on something, we ain't stopping him. Excuse me, y'all. And so he says it's an opportunity, and of course he have to take advantage of it. Now, in the meantime, Jen over here asking daggone Detective Brian if he still don't know where his source is. He still haven't heard anything, and he like, nah, he going in the wind and he took the 2 bricks. Okay, so she don't even know that he put B Mickey in the trunk. That's no shocker, of course. Now, the guy from the daggone evidence room is coming and saying, can I talk to you in private? He's like, no, anything you want to say to me, you could say to her too. She's in on it. So he basically was like, yo, they coming to do a check of the daggone, evidence room, and I need that back. So Detective Brian talking about, we ain't done with this thing yet. How soon do you need it back? And he's saying no later than tomorrow morning or tomorrow. And I'm saying, if not, that's gonna be his ass. So Jen is like, oh yeah, that's perfect. That's all the time they need. But of course they really shaking in their damn boots like, shit, what the heck we gonna do? We gotta figure something out to cover for the fact that y'all done took this evidence out of here without permission and lost it. Okay, so now moving, he says they're gonna go pay their respects. So Meech is here giving a daggone speech. He's pouring some wine out, and everybody's holding up their glasses to do a toast. We got our heads bowed, and he's just saying Saki was all business. He was business and he was family. He was ours and we was his, and we gonna all look out, and we lucky to have had a piece of him on this earth even for a short time, and we even luckier when we get to heaven, right, to see him again. And so in the midst of him giving this daggone toast and saying here's to Saki, here come Brian rude ass walking in there with a cigarette in his hand, doing this clap or whatever, and walking up saying to Meech, don't you got something for me? You got something of mine? And Meech was like, what, your damn dignity? And he talking about some don't play with me. And so Pastor Swift had to step in and basically be like, yo, brothers, today is supposed to be about fellowship and forgiveness. Let's, put this aside. And so we, before we go too far, whatever, be, at this beautiful repast. And so Pastor talking about some, you protecting him. He said, nah, I'm here to bless all of us, right? And before we make a mistake, we can't take back. And Detective Brian says, it's a little too late for that. He over here putting the damn cigarette out in the freaking wine that was in the bowl. I said, his old disrespectful ass, Pastor Swift tells Jen, keep an eye on him, sister, right? I say, yeah, Jen always got her eye on him, but that's one thing she gonna do. Now, in the meantime, Terry is telling us that everybody plays everybody in the game, right? Only way to survive is to see past the smiles and the threats, all right? Keep your eyes on the prize, honey, and pay attention, find their weakness. And so, we basically have Charles in the room freaking moping or whatever, right? Child, Lucille coming in and asking him what's wrong now. We got Jesus Loves by Lionel Richie playing in the background, baby. If you don't know about that, you better ask somebody. And so Lucille was like, what's going on? And he says that Terry is cashing out the business. And she's pretty much like, well, I don't think we should be shocked about that at this point, right? With the way things is going and the way that he, has made his decision. And Charles was like, yeah, the streets and Meech won. So she's telling him how Pastor want her to get together with these women and have this group tonight at the church. She's like, to be honest, I don't even feel like doing it because all of them be casting stones, okay? She's over the daggone hypocrites. Little do she know she's sleeping next to one of the biggest ones, but that's another story, child, that we will get to later. So she's dressed and trying to go to work or whatever. And he's telling her how he's going to work the late night shift tonight. I say, yeah, Charles, I bet, right? And he's like, oh, you going to be there late, and trying to question her and finds out her damn whereabouts. And so basically she's saying, well, whatever you do, don't kick him out like you did with Meech. And he's basically like, yeah, you right, whatever, right? And he was like, well, especially with the situation that's going on and we need to make up some things, this is supposedly why he gonna go ahead and work the daggone night shift to be able to make some money because they really could use it. And she was like, well, we not gonna worry about it. What we gonna do is come together and make it work like we always do, okay? And he just basically go walking out and don't say nothing. And then she just, lucking, okay? She get a little feeling, but she don't know where she getting it from. Now we got Brian and Jen sitting in the car, whatever, and she's just like, yo, you gotta hurry up and come up with something. You got a decision to make because I ain't going down for this. And he was like, the only other thing that he could think of replacing the cocaine with something else. She was like what, flour? So he talking about no, like synthetic that doubles as coke, okay? He was like, maybe prescription drug, benzo, something like that. Nobody will know the difference. So she was like, how the hell can we get that many scripts to cover that? It's 2 damn kilos worth. And he's basically like, I know a guy that knows a guy. I bet you do, damn Brian, okay? And it ain't going to be cheap. It's going to come out of their damn pockets. So she's basically like, listen, I guess I ain't got no choice. I'm down, right? And the only reason that I'm doing this is because I need to cover my behind. She's like, down the rabbit hole, deeper I go. She don't want to lose her job when it's all said and done. So he's like, okay, then I guess we'll get the synthetic, give it to Smitty, and case closed. I say, yeah, all right, we gonna see how this gonna go. Now, in the meantime, we basically have, Monique sitting here doing her cousin's hair, and Terry comes in. She like, damn, you could knock or something. And he got these bags, and he's telling her, this bag is for you, this is for the kids. And she was like, well, they not here. No matter of fact, she was like, give it to them yourself. He says, if they was here, I would. She said, well, that's not my fault. It's yours with all this attitude. Because remember, he did say he wanted the kids to be away just in case with the Lamar situation. So basically, he was like, well, damn, I just came through the door, Mo. You already ready to start a damn argument with me? And so she introduced him to her little cousin that's in town from Morris Brown, and she's giving the cousin the bag, and Terry's pulling it, Meech is pulling it back like, nah, you too little for this, okay? And she like, well, it's Tina, and for your information, I'm 16, so, Monique was like, yeah, she real smart, too damn smart, and always in everybody's business, 16 going on 36, and she telling, Meech, like, if you ever in Atlanta, I'll show you around. He like, excuse me, girl, if you don't get the heck up out my face, all right? So Monique told her to step out for a minute, like, girl, Bob, grown folks business, we need to talk. And Monique starts coming up with a plan, and we was discussing this just last week, saying, would it be smart for her to go ahead and get Lamar over there, right? She would be the one that would be able to call him so that they could go ahead and get him up out of here. Because anytime she called, he gonna come running. And so she was saying she know that she's still his Achilles heel. And she was like, maybe if I have him come, then we could go ahead and devise a plan and get him up out of here. And Meech is telling her, nah, I don't want my baby mother to be involved in nothing like that. But I'm like, Meech, technically, it's a really good idea, okay? It's actually smart. She gave him smart advice last week, too, and he didn't listen to it. So nonetheless, he's saying, nah, he would figure out a way. He not going to jeopardize her or her kids' safety. And she said, listen, I'm not jeopardizing my damn kids' safety either. I want this over with. So now we get freaking LaWanda and her mom at this damn psychic child. This lady don't know a damn thing, honey. She ain't know his freaking name. She ain't know what the heck was going on. LaWanda over here, well, his name is Terry. She was like, oh yeah, I was just about to say that. You wasn't about to say a damn thing. She over here taking what she like, putting it in her bag, getting his boat, talking about it got some bad juju on it, taking something else and putting it in her damn breast and then giving her the rest of the stuff back. And so they basically looking at her. They like one eye open and stuff, trying to see. She talking about he a good provider. And LaWanda was like, yeah, when it comes to his son, he is. Oh, he's generous and all this. So her mother talking about, Joanne, since you a psychic, can you tell us if he in this for the long haul? Do he want to be a family or not? And so she over here. Let me see. Well, give me your hands, ladies. Oh, give me your hand, Joanne. And so they all in this damn circle, and she was like, well, there's something that's very pressing that you both need to know. So we don't hear immediately what this so-called pressing news is. Now, Meech and Terry get to this rich man, poor man party. They come in. They trying to, of course, talk to Raisin and see if he could go ahead and do this hookup as far as the Colombians go. When they walk in or whatever the case may be, Terry says he gonna go get a drink. And Meech was like, what drink you getting? You know what I'm saying? A damn... what he said, I forgot. I think a Shirley Temple or something like that, right? And Terry ends up going and ordering a damn cranberry juice, or apple juice. So he walks over, right? And he's talking to Raisin, and at first Raisin is like, oh, well, because Meech was like, thanks for hearing me out. And he was like, well, you really didn't give me a choice, and you're asking me to go behind my cousin's back. But Meech was like, he's done with the Colombian, so I don't see what difference it would make. And he was like, at the end of the day, one thing that I learned from K9 is that, he basically be saying that you got to be a front, you got to be a man, you got to say what you want or whatever, and everybody has a price. So he was like, what's your price? And so, of course, Raisin is talking about he wants 10%, and Meech is like, done, just make it, happen. Set it up right now. So he talking about slow your roll. I got to figure out how to manage K9 and Cena with that 20 mil or whatever the case may be. Next thing we know, we hear a gunshot, and everybody's going to look and see what happened. We got freaking K9 screaming, talking about you should have never took it. And Raisin is like, yo, you shot Auntie. And he's like, I don't give a, And so he's like, you should have never been stealing. Get your ass up or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Quit crying and get up. And she's like, I'm bleeding. He was like, I ain't going to tell you no more. So I said, this your mother, child. You done shot your damn mother. She talking about, I can't believe you shot me in the head. He was like, man, forget about what she talking about. Let's go give these poor people this money. And they go ahead and just bounce. And so, of course, you got Terry breaking on Meech in the car like, are you crazy? Anybody that could treat their own family like that and turn on their damn own mother, what the heck you think they gonna do with you? And he's saying how Raisin is supposed to be coming with them to do this hookup with the Colombians. And he like, hell no, he ain't coming. He's telling him that damn K9 is the epitome of a damn psychopath, okay, which he is. He ain't lying with that, all right? And so he's like, well, who the heck is supposed to be the damn translator? And Terry says, I'll translate. He like, you can't translate with the little bit of damn Spanish from freaking school. And he's saying, yes, I can hold it down. He also says, that he was going to be in charge of weapons. And Meech was like, nah, you can't bring no weapons. And, of course, Terry is saying we got to be, safe than sorry, right? We got to watch what we doing. And so he's basically saying, he got it. I said, okay, y'all, because this sounds like a hot mess so far. So Terry go ahead into where, Miss Marquisha work at or whatever, right? The insurance place. And he's basically saying that he want these tickets for this trip that he about to take. He over here, to St. Martin. He over here trying to flirt with the girls. He like, oh, yeah, while you at it, give me your daggone number or whatever the case may be. And he was like, also wanting to find out about a translator. So Marquisha over here looking, and she's trying to add her 2 cents in and ask different questions while intervene while he's talking to the girl or whatever. She was like, oh, they do English on this side and, French on that side. So why Spanish? And then she's basically like, oh, if you want to translate it, this is where you could go. And so he's like, oh, okay, I'll think about it. And then he says, and by the way, y'all could keep these because I don't have the car service no more. Right. And so she's just looking, of course. Marquisha's like, because I guess she thought he was supposed to come running after her after she left that letter. So we got Blackie here with Lamar, child. They really trying to make us see a softer side of damn Lamar, and I don't care about it. And he got Blackie trained now. Mo was like, oh, wow, I'm impressed. Okay, you doing a good job. It seemed like he's listening now. And so she basically says that she wanted to talk to him. She wanted to apologize about everything that happened with Meech. He's like, there's no need to apologize. And she's like, yeah, well, I want to think, start building back the family together, but I can't because I lied. Okay, I told you that Nikki wasn't yours and she really is. And he's like, what? I knew it. I knew that was my baby girl. So she's like, yeah. And so he basically was saying that they could take it slow. They could take it one step at a time to try to build back things. And she was like, after hearing that story, I don't want to keep Zoe from you. And there's a lot that happened between us. And he's like, I know, I know, I know. So he was like, yeah, we got to build back that trust. And, saying that he's willing to do it. And so she's like, okay. And he was like, you see that, Blackie? You know what I'm saying? We got to get you back on your feet. So he's like to, give mama some sugar. And she was like, well, he actually looks like he's sick or something. So he was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get him back to the house. And he over here saying, can I hit you up later, and come on and give me a hug and kiss. And she's like, nah, slow your roll. Okay, slow down. She was like, remember, we just said we was going to take our time getting back into it. So he was like, you right. You know what I'm saying? You cannot blame me for trying. So when he leaves out, we see that she basically had, that hammer. Okay, shout out to Moochie in her back the whole daggone time. So now we basically see Terry arguing with damn LaWanda, and she is dead ass here telling him, oh, I went to this lady, I gave her this stuff, and she is saying that I'm pregnant, whatever. And then he's like, nah, you gonna take a damn pregnancy test. I don't give a damn what you say. You already know how I feel about false prophets. How the heck you trying to come and tell me that this lady told you about you being pregnant and get my stuff back from her? So she was like, oh, please, you don't care nothing about church until it benefits you or whatever the case may be. You don't know a damn thing about religion until it's convenient for you. And so here go her mother cutting in, talking about some, I'm usually not in you and LaWanda relationship, but babies are blessings and you need to step up and do what you got to do. You can't turn your back. Terry said, I'm up out of here. I said, yeah, because I'm sorry, mama, but you was saying you was minding your business from before. You should have continued to mind it, okay? Now, Terry, 2 seconds later, child, is out on a bench with Dan Marquisha. I guess she gave him this address to meet her there for the so-called Spanish lessons. And he was like, I didn't think you really wanted to talk to me again after that damn letter you wrote. Oh, I apologize, Terry. You're not a kid. You're not a child, and boo-hoo-hoo. So she's basically like, you're not a boy. And he's telling her, look, once I do this deal with the Colombians, everything is going to be good. I'm going to be able to take care of you and your Ninos. I'm like, really? And she over here giggling or whatever. And he was like, and not in no hotel. Okay. My su casa, your su casa. Okay. And so she's like, all right, then, T, become that boss. All right. And don't forget that you are the one that's in charge. You are the closer. And so basically this lady's coming by with a rose and ask him if he want to buy one. He says, yeah, as a matter of fact, give him all of them. And they proceed to get up and dance. She telling him thank you for the flowers. And then he was like, you know what, if we are gonna start this, I gotta keep it real with you. LaWanda saying she pregnant. I don't know if it's mine though. I said, Terry, it's yours. Okay, if she is, which I really don't believe she is. So she like, damn, Terry. Okay. So basically we have this sit down between LaWanda mom, Nikki, LaWanda, and Meech mom. And she's sitting down and she's basically like, no matter what, we got your back. She was like, I thought we should have something that's just the ladies and no men. And, Nikki over here talking about amen. So she was like, babies is always a blessing and our family will always love, the baby. And they were saying how Terry had came out stink to her. And so Lucille was basically like, well, one thing about Terry, yeah, he could be blunt with his mouth, but he always going to take care of his obligations. LaWanda mama over here talking about some, my daughter and grandchild ain't the obligation. Yeah, they are at this point, honey. So she was like, can't you do something to control him? No, we can't. She, Lucille tells her, we tried that once before and it backfired in our face. We did not, it did not work out. And her mother gonna say maybe we need a more sophisticated way of doing it. Even LaWanda had to be like, yo, ma, chill. And Lucille basically was like, at the end of the day, LaWanda, what it boils down to is that we will always love your baby, will always be a part of the family, and we will always take care of our family, period. Okay, nothing else to discuss there. I said, child, LaWanda mother is something else. Okay, first she had Lucille still, steering her wrong. Now she got her mama steering her wrong. So we see freaking Charles and Mabel out here in these streets, child. I said, Terry, get it from his damn daddy. Because he out with boom woman in the damn streets in public. And here go freaking Charles in public walking where anybody would have been able to see him and go back and tell damn Lucille. She talking, he's like, when you said surprise, I wasn't expecting this. She taking him up in the strip club and asking him, have he ever been with two women? And he laughing, talking about some, yeah, between you and Mabel, you and Lucille. So she's like, no, silly, two at the same time. He like, have you? No, what you think I am, some freak? And she all laughing. So she bring this girl over and she like, baby, you about to have fun. You about to get it in. She gonna rock your world. She like, I want him to have it all, okay, and more. And she go ahead and pay homegirl, and homegirl about to shake it up all up in Charles' face. And he talking about, this is like McDonald's. I'm loving it. And he got the big smile on his face, honey. And that smile turned into a frown because who was on the other side, child? Eye to eye, okay? Busted. It was freaking Meech. And I said, I love it. I'm so glad that Meech was the one that saw him. Because Meech is the one that he goes out at the hardest, and that he always just act like he freaking hated at some points and sometimes, or was jealous of, or whatever the heck it may be. And Meech stood up and looked at him, and he looked at Meech, and the next thing you know, somebody has stepped in front of him, and baby, he was ghost, okay? You never even seen, did he go under the table, under the stairs, behind the door? He was just gone, okay? And Meech sat down and continued his business, that he was functioning with or whatever. It threw him off for a minute, and then it was like, yo, you heard what I said? And it's like, yeah, so I'm gonna get my ear to the streets, and we're gonna find out what's going on with B Mickey, because he's like Casper for real. I said, yeah, him and Charles apparently, because Charles turned into damn Casper and got up out that damn spot. So now Terry's over here packing up his stuff to go, and Nikki's coming in like, oh, I heard, LaWanda's pregnant. He was like, nah, you ain't hear nothing. She was like, yes, I did. And as a matter of fact, I used to hear y'all in here having sex. They teach us about sex in school anyway. So he like, oh yeah, since they teach you so much. He proceeds to pull a damn condom out and putting it on his trophy. I said, if you had condoms, Terry, you should have been using them and putting it on your thing, not no trophy. So as he's chasing behind damn Nikki with it, Mama and Daddy come in the room to see what's going on. And, then they like, oh, Lucille telling him, I heard you was acting on Christ-like. And he was like, no, Mom, I just was shocked about this news. And when they go out, because Lucille told Nikki, come on, here go Charles. You heard from your brother? That's all he was worried about. He just knew whether he was going to be caught and whether they was going to tell damn Lucille. And he like, no. And he like, okay. And then he go walking out the damn room. So we basically see Terry and Meech trying to get to this airport, set up everything, say what they doing. We find out that Terry brought the damn guns anyway, and that he paid so that, it wouldn't go through security and it would still be able to get there. And Meech is like, yo, you never shot a damn gun before, but now all of a sudden you Rambo. Like, if I told you not to bring it, why the hell would you bring it, or whatever the case may be, right? And so, of course, Terry feel like he right and Meech feel like he right. It's never a difference. Now, when they get there, Meech so damn, thinking he freaking smart or whatever. Terry coming in talking Spanish and, Meech saying whatever with your fake ass Spanish. So he sees this chick at the bar and he gets all open, ready to go back with her and talking about, honey, if I would have known there was girls like this here, I would have built the whole island. And she was like, oh, you still can. Throws her coat over her face, and then they are able to knock his ass out and steal all they luggage. So as they go to meet Cena, Terry's like, since you done messed up every damn thing, you gonna let me do the talking. And they get in there, he talking in Spanish to Cena, Cena talking Spanish to him. He offering him a damn cigar, and he don't even freaking take it. Okay, Terry don't, but Meech does. So of course Cena takes this as an insult, and he ends up walking out with Terry to talk to him and leaving, walking out with Meech to talk to him and leaving Terry there. Now, in the meantime, Brian and Jen get the bag back for the evidence, child, just in the nick of time. And he telling him, didn't I say that it was coming back, And the cop say, you say a lot of damn things, but that don't mean it happened, okay, Brian? We always know you full of crap. So he's telling Jen how he planned on buying his son dinner, and do she want to come back with him? And she's like, of course, I ain't going to turn down no damn free food. So, off to go to his damn house, right? And so basically we had, like I said, them at this meeting, and, then we see that as they was getting ready to leave to go to the, feed Brian's son, this guy comes up, okay, and was telling them like, oh, the pictures is ready, Mr. GQ. He's like, you remember those pictures you asked for from the surveillance? Of course, of them taking those damn pictures of Terry and damn Markeisha getting it in. And who do you think he runs to, to show the pictures but LaWanda? And she over here crying. Do you know who this is? Who is it? I don't understand and all of that. And, basically she was, he was telling her, like, you're going to have to tell us what Terry is up to. If you tell us, we can help you and we can make sure he don't spend that much time in here. And her mother was like, nah, we got to think about that. You can't come forcing that down my daughter. So they say, okay, you got 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever. So then he said, and if you don't tell us nothing, then we going to bring you in as an accessory too. She was like, bullshit, I ain't never did nothing. She like, mama, they can't do that, right? And then they like, her mama say, no, they can't, right? And so, child, that's a whole ass mess. We already knew that's what they was gonna do, right? And so in the meantime, Misha's here at this meeting with Cena now. Raisin done told the whole damn wrong story and was trying to set up Misha and them too because they thought that he was coming near to pay off damn K9's 20 million debt. And they like, hell no, that's not what we here from. We here for our own thing. They was like, we separate from K9. We ain't got a damn thing to do with whatever's business is between you and K9 is between you and K9. That's not what I showed up for. And cause he was like, you showed up without my 20 million. And Misha's like, what? He was like, nah, Raisin didn't make that clear. He was like, I came here for something separate. Me and Terry can move. We the fastest movers that's out here and we're independent of K9. And so they was like, so you prepared to kill him? Now Me's talking about some, no, we ain't trying to kill him either. He was like, why you want to do that? Raisin clearly made promises that he didn't discuss with us. He's like, we don't want to put more blood on the street because that's going to make it even harder for us to be able to make the moves that we need to make or whatever. We trying to put this to bed, you know what I'm saying, and supply us so that we could take care of K9's debt in exchange for his life. And so they was like, well, our partners want him dead. And he was like, but bodies attract heat. And so, here come, you don't want turf wars and murders and stuff like that. And so he was like, well, this happened before and I don't like it. That's what Cena told him. He was like, I put my men and women and children in harm's way and I don't like to lose men or product. And Meech was like, neither do I. And so basically, he was like, bringing the other one, and then Terry comes in, and Terry basically is coming in because he's the one that knows the math. Meech is telling him, like, I told him why we invaluable to him. And Terry sits down and was like, well, you see, this is a recession-proof business. If you provide the liquid to the banks and what the rest of the world can or whatever, and you give us the 100 keys, then we can re-up within a week and we can recover twice in no time, all right? And have all of that. And even though it's a drought, we could demand whatever price we want or whatever. And we could be on and popping. And so, Meech tells him the real reason why I didn't bring a translator is because at the end of the day, we speak the same language, okay? Money, green, all right? And so basically he tells him, your brother's rude. And he was like, oh yeah, he's worse than damn rude, okay? He's loco, okay? Basically Meech talking about Terry. And Terry's like, whatever, okay? And so, he tells him, okay, well, guess what? Y'all gonna get 300 keys, all right? So you getting more than what the hell you wanted. And they like, wait, how are we supposed to get that back to the States? And they was like, it's already there, okay? We already got it there, boo. And basically, this is risk management. So Terry and Meech about to be bosses, y'all, 300 kilos, and they, shaking on it. Now, when Ryan gets home, his son is there with a little friend. He's introducing him to his partner. His son like, oh, I see they gave you a woman partner this time, huh? He like, looks like it. He say he got these sandwiches or whatever the case may be from Lulu's. And she's like, is it any good? He said, oh yeah, they got the best sandwiches in the city. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the nation. All right. And so she over here doing a little bonding with, Detective Brian's son and his friend over here, martial arts, and I brung some movies from Blockbuster. That was nostalgia for real, seeing the Blockbuster bags, because baby, we used to be up in there, and we are seeing Detective Brian going over to the safe to put his gun in it, and I just feel like they keep showing us that safe, and something is going to come up of that. But we seeing them bonding and stuff like that, and I was like, so is something about to happen to Jen, because we see that this is getting serious now, as far as her relationship with Detective Brian. Now, Lamar over here crying about Blackie, child. Blackie is over here jacked the hell up. He's still having issues from when he was doing dog fighting, got internal injuries. Ashley Larry is telling him, I'm sorry about this. And he's like, you don't care about my damn dog. He was like, yeah, but at the end of the day, I know how much you care about him, so I still feel bad for you. And Lamar's saying, oh, well, he's still going to be eating your hungry man dinners because I'm not putting him down, and, he going to still rock with me and all of that. Now, when Jen is leaving, Bryant comes out to give her a hug, but of course the hug turns into a kiss, and his son was looking out that window and not looking too pleased to see it, okay? So we know that they definitely was bumping and grinding. They wasn't just worried about watching Terry while they was in there, right? We seen how that bed was looking, so I already knew what time it was, okay? Now, Swift is giving a damn sermon about, having a false prophet, and remember, that's also what Terry said to daggone LaWanda. And we got Lamar coming up in the church asking Pastor Swift to bring his dog back to life. He like, y'all be giving out all these donations and paying these tithes in the church, talking about what an amazing God this is. So I guess he really can't do nothing. And Swift, is saying, like, it doesn't work like that, son, and there's nothing that we could do or whatever, right? And that's not what God means. And he was like, we all can seek guidance and we all are welcome, but you can't come in here seeking a fight. You need to turn around and get out. This is the Lord's house. And so Lamar talking about no, you got it wrong. This ain't the Lord's house. This is my house, okay? He's talking about some they really could have left this scene out. He talking about, y'all all pay all this stuff or whatever the case may be and do what they tell you. And so, Swift said, I'm not repeating myself. And he was like, well, just know this. Lamar says this. He was like, just know this. God called me to run to these streets. I said, not you lying on God, Lamar. God don't got nothing to do with you and your damn foolishness. And Pastor pulled up that daggone gun and said, well, the street's about to be up in here if you don't get the hell up. I said, get out, okay? And they was like, what in the world? Everybody in the church was shook, okay? So basically, his little men was on the side and they stood up too. And Pastor got back in that pulpit and says, somebody was telling him he forgot his dog, and Pastor said he was about to have me resort to my east sideways, baby, make me take it back into time, and they said let the church say amen. So when Terry get in here, LaWanda, of course, is heated. She upset. She was like, oh, I guess so. Eating coochie not at, against your religion after all. Because remember, he never wanted to give, LaWanda that down low. But he sure enough didn't have a problem with giving it to Markeisha. He was like, what are you talking about? She was like, I got the photos right here. So he was like, you had somebody following me? She was like, nah, I didn't have to have nobody following you because your ass was doing this, to yourself. And she was like, I'm pregnant with your damn child, So he talking about well, I found somebody new. Finally, you gonna tell the truth. And she was like, oh, that older bitch, she's mad. Oh, she could be your damn auntie. Like, you are trying to abandon your family for somebody's damn auntie. So he was like, Wanda, I'm still here like I've always been. And she was like, F you. She was like, you know what? And Detective Brian is looking for you. You know that, right? And she basically was like, I ain't covering for your stink ass no more. And gives him the picture so he could see. So I said, Terry. Okay? Now, moving on from that, we basically see B. Mickey in this damn trunk again, child. He finally figured out a way after all these hours and hours and hours to get the hell up out of there. He sees that, the hospital has been paging him over and over and over again. And we basically see, Charles bring his raggedy ass into the record shop. Now he want to talk about records and growing up with music, and me saying, I guess it worked. He was like, I mean, I ain't no Michael Jackson or whatever, but I did play the drums when we used to be in church and stuff like that. All right. And so, Charles is just basically mad awkward, mad silent for a minute. And then he want to start basically saying to Meech, like, Meech, I ain't perfect, and I know I've done things wrong, and I just tried to set a good example and lead you down the righteous path, and I evidently failed. And so Misa, I'm gonna keep it real with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I could ever be with one woman. So props to you for sticking it out this long. And, he gonna talk about some Meech, me and you ain't alike. You like, he still was trying to diss him even in that freaking moment. And Meech was like, I get it, shit. You and mama been arguing my whole life anyway. And he was like, listen, this ain't your mama's fault. She and I are just growing apart. But this is what I'm saying to you, Charles. If you know y'all growing apart, because last week you was just trying to convince her that you still was all in. You wanted to treat her like the queen that she is and blah, 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 blah. But this week you like, oh, we growing apart, but you still ain't said shit to Lucille about this. And you out in the streets, like I said, where other people could see you and bring it back. And now your damn son done seen you. When it's all said and done, this is also the son that you was acting like was the damn devil, okay, was the worst thing that to ever freaking exist. And the whole time you out here doing shit yourself that ain't freaking right, Charles. And now you want to be like, I'm not perfect. But you sure enough was acting like you was perfect all the hell before. So anyway, he says that his mother's not going to get no heartbreak from him. He always, has basically been part of the reason why she had a heartbreak. So he's not going to tell her he don't have to worry about it. It's all good, Pops. I got to go ahead and take this call at the end of the day, which was the only thing that Charles wanted to make sure of. Meech told him he not no rat. Okay. And so then Meech go ahead and he goes and sees K9. And of course, K9 is like, you think I wasn't going to know what you did? He was like, you tell me what's up. He said, first of all, I know, that you, holding. And, he was like, Meech says, well, opportunity fell into his laps. And so he said, well, when you tried to backdoor me, he was like, no, what I did was dissolve the partnership or whatever the case may be. And so he was basically like, I'm saying, what the worst thing is? Raisin portrayed us all. He said that, MF or whatever was trying to get to the top and was going to take you out and everybody out. And we spared your life at the end of the day, right? When he wasn't even thinking about it. But unfortunately, it cost him his. And so he was like, if you want to pay it back in blood, so be it. But you got to understand that I came to you as a man and much more than that or whatever, right? And so that's what Meech was saying to K9. So K9 basically looking around or whatever. And then he like, yo, you know what? He was like, all right, put the guns down or whatever the case may be. He was like, one thing I'm going to tell you about family is that, I already knew Raisin was up to. I knew what he was up to. That wasn't no shock to me. He wasn't getting over on me. And he was like, I would have done the same thing that you did and took the connect. So I ain't got no choice but to respect that. So he basically was just saying that, the mentorship is over, nigga. Okay, mentorship is over. He was like, you a boss now. I said, huh? Okay. So, he says to him that, as he walked away and sat down at the desk, and mind you, we seeing his mother coming out with the bandages on her head, bringing him food, and he says sometimes it's okay to forgive family. And then Terry's phone is ringing, right? And so Terry over here talking about, child, Markeisha over here calling him, talking about, I need you. We seeing the police in the background talking about they need a statement. So obviously he pick her up. They sitting in the car, looking at the bridge in the rain. And he's like, so do you want to tell me what happened? Where's the kids? He was like, you haven't said much since we got here. So she started telling him about how, oh, thanks for coming. And me and Boom had a fight. That's something that we always do. We fight. And then he gets us something, I hit him in the head with a bottle. And more than likely, he just gonna buy me something else because that's usually how it works. That's the cycle. And so then he's talking about, well, why don't you just leave? And he's asking, is he going to press charges and stuff like that? And she's like, oh, it's always easy for people to judge from the outside that don't know what's going on. And he was like, I'm just saying you deserve better than that. You don't deserve to be going through something like that or whatever. That's all I'm trying to say. So then, she's basically, he's basically like, I want to be with you and I want to be able to take care of you and the kids and all of that, right? And she's like, just take me home so I could change my clothes and I could go to the hospital, see Boom. And he was like, are you serious right now? He was like, I really don't get this. She's talking about, I don't expect you to. Of course you wouldn't. This is grown shit and you're a kid. What would you understand about marriage? Why don't you just go home and worry about damn LaWanda? I said, then why did you call him out here in the streets? She talking about what I'm supposed to do, go live at your mom's house. I said, girl, no, get your own damn place and stand on your own two damn feet. How about that, chick? You talking about grown? That's what grown women do. Like, don't get me freaking started with your crap, Markeisha. So anyway, Mickey gets to the damn hospital, child. He's trying to check on his mother and visit her. They like, man, we was calling you and paging you or whatever from like 2 damn days ago. And he was like, I'm paging me about what? Where is she? She was like, I'm sorry, but she passed 2 days ago. And of course, B Mickey whole world is just crashing down, and he's upset because Mama is gone. Okay, rest in peace. Okay, to Mama Mickey, but she up out of here. So he goes sit down, and it's like stuff is just whirling in his damn head, and the tears is pouring down, and how he been trapped in this damn car and bull crapping running behind damn Detective Bryant, and his mother done died. Okay. And so, of course, we ends up, just hearing Terry break it down for us at the end and say, child, that is about to be on and popping. Okay, of course, B Mickey is gonna want some type of damn revenge against Detective Bryant. Okay, Terry was like I said, cops and robbers, right? It's always two sides of the same coin. And just one just wills a badge, and the other one has a license to kill. But a gangster don't need no motherfucking license. All right, y'all. So that was basically BMF, child. Tell me what y'all think about this daggone episode. What you liked, what you didn't like, how you rated anything that I left out. Let's put it in the comments. Let's discuss it there. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. Till next time, y'all.